Oh no, this is working. Right. This should be okay. I can't hear myself, my audio isn't working. Is my audio working or is my... Ah, no, my laptop is just quiet. Right. Where have I put my overlay? Is it invisible? No? If anybody's in the chat, can they let me know if my audio is working alright? Because I can't seem to see my overlay. Right. And with that, I will say hello everybody. Welcome to the IRL. This is round 19 for the Singapore Grand Prix. For the no assist division. This feels weird. I don't... Right, then. We'll just take a few minutes to, what's the word? Get everyone in the lobby. I don't think there's that many more people, so shouldn't be too long of a wait. I have so many pings in Discord, it is mad. Who is here? Many peoples. There are peoples here. Hello. Good evening, everybody. Just let me know if you can hear me. I hope my audio is okay. Jesus. Why do I have mail? There are a few people who unfortunately had to pull out tonight. Red Dragon is watching football, I believe. And Steely couldn't make it due to illness, so just gonna be me on my own again. I'll live, but plans go awry. Hey Reds, how are you? Just let me know if you can hear me. Yeah, no, Steely, it's alright, lad. Take care of yourself first. You shouldn't need to worry about me. I will be fine on my own. Okay, thanks for the audio check, Reds. But, yeah. Singapore, track known for... Well, not really known for being a bit chaotic on weather, but there have been a few curveballs in the past, so we'll wait and see on that one. One of the big names that isn't here tonight, 1010 isn't here. However, we do have the return of Joseph, so we're quite a big mixture of names today. Let Joseph cook. He did set the F2 world record the other day. I think it was on like Spain or something. So we'll see if that helps. Good evening, Cod. Yeah, pain. Yeah, I'm not surprised. Was that a world record? Yeah, the video that Joseph put into stream pictures. That was the F2 world record. Funnily enough, he's managing Taylor Barnard, whose car he was driving. Or at least his social media manager, as far as I'm aware. But yeah, bro jumps back on after like, what is it, 2 months of not being on the game, and sets a world record. Like, that takes some serious skill. What's Barnard doing next season? He's going to Formula E. So he'll be starting a bit earlier than the rest of us. McLaren? Yes. I believe so. Alongside Sam Bird? Replacing the outgoing Jake Hughes. But, it is not moist today, currently in qualifying. If somebody could let us know what the race weather is going to be, that would be helpful. Hey Red Dragon, how are you? I know you've gone to watch the football. I imagine you'll be popping in and out of the stream. Is that Joseph going out? It is. Let's get my numbers up. Champions League, can't miss it. Yeah, fair enough. I mean, that's like me in F1. I literally, I won't physically let myself miss it. This might be a little bit of pressure for Joseph, because I've chosen to come back and watch him for his first race back. Not that he'll know unless he has the stream up, which I don't believe he does at the moment. But, on mediums at the moment for Joseph. He's the only car that currently is, so that's a bit of a surprise. I believe it is short quality today. In other news, in terms of driver talk, JJ has taken the full-time seat in the Alpine, and Ryan, unfortunately, has had to drop to reserve from the leading constructors at the moment, McLaren. So John will have to win the title on his own, although with the margin that he currently has, I imagine he will be completely fine. Eh? What? Huh? Excuse? What happened there? That's a bit confusing. That'll be one afterwards. It's only 190 they can do. Fair enough. But Joseph going into turn 1, it's probably just miss a little bit at the start of that lap. Doesn't use much brake for turn 2. It's pretty nicely hooked up through there. Nice and wide for the entry to turn 4, I believe that is. I will need to check there. Using little blips of battery. I think that'll probably just be a bit of getting back used to the game again. Does a 26.7 in the first sector. We'll have to see how that stacks up. Of course, he is on the medium, so it's going to be a little bit slower than other drivers. This is one of the corners where you have to get exceedingly close to the wall, and if you get it wrong, you will lose either a lot of time or your wheel. Nicely over the curbs, through the middle sector, keep it nice and tight to the wall. As John sets a 26.2 as our starting lap. I also never remember, someone will have to remind me, which one is the Raffles Boulevard? It might be the main straight, but I'm not the main straight, the first numbered DRS straight. So I will need to fact check that, but Joseph comes around the final corner now. Comes to the line with 28.9. He said he hasn't got any practice, as that guy now goes 4 cents faster than Sano went. Our last... Hello? English, that doesn't make sense. Our race winner from last time out, Sano, goes into P3 with 26.6. Smaller goes into P3 with 28.1. And Greg goes slower than Joseph by about half a second. I think Joseph might just be getting a few practice laps in. That's probably why he's on the mediums. Next car to the line will be... I don't actually know. I think it might be JJ now, who has invalidated. It'll probably be some people to start their outlap, so I imagine Kemmons, because that will be John coming into the pits now, I imagine, the McLaren, as he does. So we'll go with the other Ferrari, with Kemmons. Opens the DRS nice and early, getting as much battery as you can down into turn 1. As he invalidates on the first corner. That is not very good, and I believe somebody's... No, just a brief yellow flag. I thought somebody had run out of fuel. As both Top Gun and Padge make it into the pit lane. Interesting line there, buddy. You better be careful you don't get nicked for that. But, who's the next car to the line? It is a Williams, I believe. Followed by Greg. That'll be Smaller and Greg coming into the pit lane now. So the Aston Martin of Ayahuasca to start his lap. I believe that was flat through the final corner, so a pretty good start to that for Aya. Comes into turn 1 right on the white line. Aya seems to be gaining confidence week in, week out, and it's really impressed me so far with the way he's been driving this season. Nice and wide. That was a slight brush of the wall, if my eyes do not deceive me. Burns down to about 75% battery. So it's a 26.4 in the first sector. Not too bad in terms of speed carried through that left-hander. Excuse me. Very wide through the entry, but is able to carry a lot of speed through right up close to the wall. So very good laps from Aya here so far. Doesn't invalidate over the curb, which is quite easy to do on this game because of how much you can absolutely muller it. Keeps it nice and tight to the left-hand side of your screen, right-hand side of the track. Uses all of the width of the track on exit. 103.0, purple middle sector. I don't know whether that's of cars on track. Very, very close to invalidating there. I believe that might be fastest of cars on track though. So we'll wait and see where Aya's lap time stacks him up, as he does invalidate over the first curb. He'll complete his lap though, I imagine, just to get a delta flat to the line, 27.4. Would have put in P2, but still 1.2 seconds off of John John. We can't park there, so I imagine that's his disqualification. It's practically impossible to overtake. Yes, it is. Is it a Boulevard of Broken Dreams? Talking about Raffles Boulevard? No, it's the straight down to the first sector split, I believe. I will say though, I don't quite understand how Deflated has managed to get himself disqualified. I would very much like to know how he's done that. If somebody can find a clip, that would be rather helpful, if you wouldn't mind, as Clements now goes into P4. I also missed Cod Camper going P3, 1/10 off of our race winner from last week, or 2 weeks in a row now for Sano. So the next car to the line will be Joseph doing race practice. The Williams, I believe that is, coming into the pit lane of that guy. Yes, it is. Then the Sauber of Greg doing on an out lap. Ayahuasca will be coming into the pits this lap, I believe. So the furthest car along on a lap will be this car that we're currently on board with, was JJ. Very wide though. He'll have to be careful he hasn't knocked his front wing. There's a yellow flag in the middle of sector 2 for one of the Ferraris. I think JJ may have gotten away with the front wing, but he will need to be quite careful he doesn't hit the wall again. I'm just seeing chats in the Discord about Deflated disqualification. As that is a Ferrari behind on the track. There's actually quite a good section from JJ there. He might just be getting a delta though, I'm not entirely sure. As he comes to the line at 34.2. Joseph comes into the pit lane. That will be Sano to start a lap, followed by Greg to finish. I couldn't quite see if Greg was up. He does a 28.6, moves 2/10 ahead of Joseph. That will be Clements, who has run out of fuel. And Ayahuasca, who's now on to finish his lap. He's 10 seconds up on what is on his previous delta. He's run out of deployment before the line. Does a 27.2 and moves marginally ahead of Clements into P4. Next car to the line will be John John, who we haven't actually seen much of today. I think he might have just backed off. So it will then be one of the Williams, followed by the Alpine of JJ, who just started a lap. John John comes into the pit lane. My voice is already getting tired. It's literally just been over 10 minutes and my voice is already dying. This is not a good sign. But Smaller burning quite a lot of battery into turn 1 there. We're right on board. Hopefully this audio is alright in terms of voice versus audio. Braking just as you end the curb there. Quite a good exit for Smaller there. Nice and smooth. Keeps it decently close towards the barrier, so it's a 26.4, is 9 milliseconds down on this time. It doesn't quite hit the apex, but that's a pretty decent exit. Braking just before the 50 here, near the black box. Bit of a slide on exit there, again, black box. Ooh. Not a good exit for Smaller there, keeps it nice and tight to the wall. Doesn't quite take as much curb as we've seen others taking. It takes a lot there though. Nice and tight to the right hand side wall to swing it into the hairpin. As you can burn quite a lot of battery down here. As he comes to the sector split, it's a 103.2. He's nearly 2/10 up on his personal best. He'll want to probably manage his battery a little bit though from here. I'm not quite sure where the braking point is. I think it's, that looked about 75 meters or so. So we'll keep an eye out for other drivers on their laps. A smaller, slight lift through the final corner. If it comes to the whistle line, it's 27.7, improves by about 4 tenths. I don't believe he gained any positions though. Somebody has spun of Smaller's teammate, that guy. Excuse my brain aneurysm as I try to figure out the correct words to say for that sentence. Unfortunate for that guy, he's doing quite well at the moment. But John and Sano look to be well out in front compared to the rest of the field. The next car to the line. Why is there a Sauber that's stopped in the start of the pit lane? The next car to the line looks to be our wonderful league owner, Padge, to start his lap. Lots of people are taking a lot of entry, if that makes sense. They're leaving it right up to the white line. As the Aston gets out of the way. .26.3 for Padge in the first sector. That's actually quite a good split as he goes a little bit deep. But nonetheless, quite a good run from Padge so far. Riding a little bit of throttle through there. We'll have to see how that affects him in the race. Taking a lot of curb there and maybe a little bit too much as he invalidates. I think from here though, it will just be grabbing a delta. Actually no, he won't have time. So Padge needs to come in this lap, otherwise he's not going to be able to get another lap in. As that is the Aston Martin of Ayahuasca who's gone deep at the hairpin. Ayahuasca will be looking to get out of the way of Top Gun, that is, number 34 VCarb. I think both of those run out laps. I think Aya may have gotten away with damage though, so he should be alright to get another lap in. Your favourite green track song? What do you want about Corgi? As Top Gun comes into the pit lane, interestingly, I don't know if he'll have time to get another lap in. As Ayahuasca... We've seen a lot of Aya today, I feel like we should go to somebody else. Who else is starting their lap? Should we ride with Top Gun? Not Top Gun, he's just coming to the pits. John. Oh dear lord. You're talking old music things. There's a Ferrari next to the line, then Cod, who is going to be finishing his lap. Cod is coming into the pit lane, so Cod's best starting position will be 4th. Followed by the Alpine of JJ's starter lap, then the Sauber of Greg to start a lap. Why is everyone starting their laps? That guy who is now pushing again. Padge has retired from this session in P12. Unfortunately, could not make it round to the line to get another lap in. That guy hitting the wall there on the exit through the chicane. As that guy comes to the line, 27.4 does improve, but I don't believe improves his position. This will be John to start a lap, who we will ride with. 26.2 to beat. Can he go any faster? Nicely through turn 1 and turn 3 for the championship leader. Somebody has stopped at the end of the Raffles Boulevard. There's a bit of a slide there from John. We'll have to see how that pans out. 25.8 in the first sector, half a tenth up on his personal best. Third gear through the 90-degree right, or slightly more than 90 degrees, but close enough to it. Lots of speed carried through there. doesn't quite do a Russell. Top Gun has retired from this session. He will also start in P3. That looks a very weird place to retire. Very wide on entry there. Swings it in quite nicely. Can't quite get the exit down. John seems to be struggling with exits here on this lap. He's 2.5, 2.25 tenths down so far. We'll look for Sano, who was 1.5 tenths down, is now 0.5 tenth down. So Sano needs a wonder final sector to be able to snatch pole from John, who is still pushing to the line here. Small lift for the final corner. Please try not to do that in the race, but John does not improve. Sano leaving his overtake on in the final corner. I don't know if that's the best idea. He does improve, but not his position. That guy retired in the pit lane, as will Greg in a moment. Ayahuasca comes to the line. He can't improve. And the next car to the line will be SmallerSmiley, who's half a second up so far. And puts it P5. That's a pretty good lap from the Brit. Joseph has currently backed off, so as has Kemmets, who is invalidated. So the next car, the final car to the line will be JJ, but there's no time to start the lap, so that is qualifying wrapped up. Steely being mystified why I'm calling their talk in chat old music. Steely, anything is old for me. You should know this. But yeah. That's older than me! I do know the song though, that's a very good song. And that is your qualifying wrap, everybody. Pole position goes the way of John, followed by Sano with a nearly 2-tenth gap, followed by Top Gun and the two V carbs, I should say, of Top Gun and Cold Camper. SmallerSmiley with a good lap at the end to put it P5. Joseph on his return to P6. Ayahuasca continuing his good form as of late in P7. Kevin's in P8, that guy in P9, Greg in P10 with a bit of a kick Sauber sandwich from one end of the grid to the other. JJ in the Alpine, the newly signed driver, goes to P11, Padge in P12, and Deflated with the unfortunate disqualification early on in the session starts P13. I mean, the last time the V-Carb started this well, COD claimed they were going to get a 1-2. And that was last week in Baku, where there was a bit of chaos. Have you applied for your bus pass yet? We're ancient. You're not that old. You're not horrendously old. Me. I know that for a fact because Hamilton's first title was in 2008. I do not need to disclose. I can disclose off stream, but on stream, I don't think it's a good idea. I'm happy with people knowing that I'm young, but not a precise number. And the race also looks to be moistless. And now I get to do the chaos of my project. Moistless? Well, you can see that it's dry. We refer to wetness in this league as moist. You know this. It is devoid of moist. It wouldn't get past Susie Dent. I'm just gonna go along with it and pretend that I know what you mean. You have no idea how little I know. And it is very, very funny. Trust me, you don't. You do not comprehend. You do not comprehend how little I know. Dear God. Hold on a second, guys. Sorry about that. Channel 4 Countdown. Is that the Countdown woman? I know her, but I didn't know her name. I've watched Countdown before. It's the It's the word person. That's all I'm gonna say. I can use word person to describe her. Just purely for this league, I will make moistless a word. I will do it. Sorry, I just have to process what you just wrote in chat there. What? I never knew that about you. Unless, of course, you're just telling me a lie. Which I don't know. I understood what you said. I'm just having to clock that you went on Countdown. Which I had no idea. And with that, we get the formation lap underway. That is the one I need, and that one. Only Ayahuasca and that guy starting on hards. Yes. Yeah, I never knew that about you. That's really funny. I had no idea. Provided you're feeling up to it, we can speak after stream on that. Because I never knew that. That's so cool. But, yeah, quite interesting. We've only got 2 people on hards at the moment. I would have thought that Deflated would have gone to hards, considering his disqualification, putting him much further down the field. There seems to be a bit of a train forming between Ayahuasca in P7 and Kemmons in P8. Maybe that's just leaving a gap, but you need to be careful these days, because you can get penalised for going too slowly on Formation Lap now. CR Chat 2014, 2013. I would not have been old enough to remember that. That's really cool. And as we now gear up for the race. It's been a decently paced what's the word? Formation lap. And now's the fun part, to see if anybody gets disqualified. We'll go on board here because the cameras aren't amazing. Clemens has been disqualified. We'll go on board at the back, shall we? Bit far from the lights, but that's 5 lights. Lights out, and we're underway for the Singapore Grand Prix of NA from the onboard of DeflatedWee, getting a good start. Side by side at the front, but John is able to hold the lead. So, Deflated having gained 2 positions off the start, that's quite nice. Another one on Greg. We'll go back to the front now. John having retained the lead. The top 6, I believe that is, staying where they are from grid to sector 1 split. Nobody quite having a look. English, hello. Having a look for a move yet. Is that going Ayahuasca now side by side? Somebody's going off the track in the background there. Looks to be one of the hard-shod runners. As that is SmallerSmiley getting all out of shape through the left-hander there. But even at this stage of the race, you'll want to be keeping it slightly, probably toned down on pace. Seeing as the longer you can go in this race, or the better care you take of your tyres, the better place you're going to be. Even if it's a marginal gain, it will mean a lot, as DeflatedWee now gets up into P9 from P13. That's a cracking start from the Season 5 AT1 champion. There's Sano going a bit wide there through the first part of the chicane. Loses a bit of time to John there. There's a bit of a gap starting to form already, but with DRS enabled this lap, that should start to come back down a little bit. And people will also have to watch out for warnings through turn 1 and the exit of turn 2. Deflated getting another place on that guy. I don't think that was actually that smart, because now we'll go with Deflated here. He doesn't have DRS to the front pack, as obviously that guy is now a fair way behind. Joseph has also fallen out of the DRS. And that is Kevin's, I believe, going a little bit wide. We'll go with Joseph to see whether he can maintain in the DRS of SmallerSmiley and the front 5. It's very close at the moment. I don't believe anybody has any wing damage either, otherwise we would have seen some pitting at the end of lap 1. As I believe Joseph has just about got into the DRS window. Yes, he has. As you can see on the screen there, the predicted pit stop strategies are people going in on lap 15. We'll have to wait and see if that prediction does ring true, as that is Sanam and John coming together there by the looks of things. That'll close the pack up quite a bit. Maybe somebody having a look. Top Gun Cod Camper now getting the fast lap of 130.2. DRS will be the game changer. I'm calling it now. It's always been so powerful on this game that as soon as you lose it, your race is done. There is no coming back. So if somebody's tried to go for a move, as that is Top Gun, almost closing up on Sano there, as I believe that is Joseph now, who has fallen out of the DRS, the top 5. But if these guys fight so much, this could yet bring the lower pack into the fight again. Oh, just caught that before they went under the roof. Sano having a bit of a look there into the hairpin. With the DRS down this straight, I don't think that was the wisest move in the world, as he's almost pushing the NA champion of the last 2 seasons through the corner there. There's no DRS zone here like there is in real life, so you can't really shape for a move. Sano having a look but deciding to pull back in. Could he make it 3 in a row? The Sauber man, the SmallerSmiley, has made a mistake and dropped back behind Joseph and Kemmons now. So that is Joseph up into P5 on his return. SmallerSmiley now getting a 3-second penalty for track limits. Does he have front wing damage? I don't believe he does. It's hard to see with the Williams front wing being black on the nose tips. But nothing visual so far for the Williams driver, as Kemmons goes off the track, overtaking Joseph. If that was real life, that we would have been asked to give that position back. But no, this is not real life, and we do not need to comment on any controversies which may or may not have occurred. There's JJ and Padge going side by side in the back. We'll go back to the front few now, as that is Top Gun almost going into the back of Simon there. Hey Novatek, how are you? You've just about missed the start of the race, excuse me. But at the moment, not too much chaos that you've missed. So far it is just the front 4 now, as SmallerSmiley now getting back past Joseph. That would have been a bold one into that chicane there. Would like to see how that happened. As DeflatedWee. These two old rivals may yet come to blows again. As Joseph seems to be lagging a little bit there. Maybe DeflatedWee dropping a small amount. I think that guy has also fallen out of the DRS of this small train. As Deflated may look to get past Joseph here, and he does. DeflatedWee up into P7 from P13. Will now look to get past SmallerSmiley. As Padge and JJ look to be probably DRS swapping through the Raffles Boulevard. Through the middle sector on board with Top Gun here. He's got quite a lot of battery now already, as you can see from the onboard. We'll have to wait and see where these drivers decide to go. Of course, being in the train, they will save a little bit more fuel. Although I don't believe, based off of my knowledge from this track of last game, this track is that much of a fuel burner. Give me a few seconds because my controller is apparently on low battery. I should have probably checked that before stream. My apologies. I'm glad I came back just in time for that, as I've spotted Joseph Hales speeding into the pit lane, unfortunately. Couldn't quite see if he got any damage. I've just come to look. How does Smiley have a penalty ready? I'm not actually that sure. All I know was just track limits. That's the only thing that I saw come up. How I am terrible, no, but anyways, let's not we're in the mood. Novatek, you'll be fine. You have the race to watch. You can enjoy it with us. You know, in all seriousness, I hope you're all right, lad. Yeah, lap 6 of 31 here. Looks like Joseph may have come in for a wing change, as it also looks like John has dropped the hammer a little bit here and decided to try and brake from the lower 3, as that is SmallerSmiley who has spun on the exit of the chicane, unfortunately. Ayahuasca now getting past Kemmons, who I believe has also had a moment on the straight, so that leaves DeflatedWee 5 seconds off of the pack, having started P13, but is still running P5. As that is Top Gun getting mightily close to Sano. They'll want to be careful to do not fall out of the DRS of John. But the gap is 8/10, so John has decided to drop the hammer, very much so. We have to wait and see whether the Sauber can keep in the DRS and sort of recover at this stage in the race. If you do not have DRS now, your race is pretty much consigned to being where you are. So you need to be very careful that you don't lose DRS. If you do, well, already said it, but that is, I believe, JJ, who has hit the wall and does have wing damage. Front left end plate, that looks to me. I believe. Yes, that is front left end plate damage for the Alpine. This John has now only just broken DRS. I just looked there, and yes, Sano in the Sauber does not have DRS, so Top Gun, looking to go past here, he will probably get back into the DRS as Quad Camper looks down the inside of Sano as well. There's a little bit of contact, but the Sauber maintains the place. Ayahuasca now overtaking that guy with a DRS. This seems to be a favoured overtaking spot here. As Joseph now also gets a 3-second time penalty for track limits. Good evening, how is everybody doing? Hello, Tucker. It's been a minute since I've seen you in the chat. So I believe... Does Top Gun have DRS? He does. Sano looks to be struggling on tyres now. As Top Gun has managed to keep his race in play for the win. Pod will be looking to get past Sano rather quickly now, I imagine. As that was a look to the inside for the VCARB driver. They'll lose out time to the front two, but COD now makes it a VCARB 2-3. VCARB have a very strong, consistent driver pairing this season. If they can keep getting performances like this, with only John in the McLaren, they could actually have a possible shot at the Constructors. As that is Clements, who has now also come into the pit lane from the medium tyres. He's been careful not to speed like his teammate did, although I can't quite tell, as Sano has now also got back past COD. I think Clements also came in for a front wing change, so both Ferraris needing a change of front wing. Unfortunate for the Scuderia, they were actually running really well. That's right, it's been a while at the moment, pretty busy with my next movie production. Ah, fair enough. Yeah, I wish you good luck with that, man. I hope everything's well with you as well. As Top Gun has now managed to keep himself fully in play now. As I also believe that gap to COD Camper will start going up. Thanks, mate. Yeah, no worries, lad. Maybe John pushed a little bit too early. Maybe his tyres are going to start to go off. The in-game prediction said it was going to be lap 15. So you never know. It could come down to the undercut. Maybe if somebody was partial to risking it, we could see it. But COD Camper has also, in the midst of that, got back past Sano. They'll be wanting to probably DRS swap their way up the field. However, at the moment, it doesn't seem like either of them have the pace to do so. SmallerSmiley has also been overtaken, as I believe he's spun again on the exit of turn 3. Smaller had a really good start to the races. He's now got wing damage as well. Maybe an incident somewhere. He did look quite close to other cars. But we'll ride with the closest battle on track so far. Sano maybe just trying to recharge a little bit here. As you can see, in the background is a certain little Red Bull. DeflatedWee from 13th on the grid is currently closing up to the fight for the podium. Just to put that into perspective. As Top Gun has now closed, as that is Sano coming into the pit lane, pulling the undercut, as has Cod Camper. So they're going to go early. DeflatedWee continues on as well, a little bit wide through turn 2, but we shan't mention that. Top Gun in the DRS of John. He'll be closing up rather quickly now, as he's very close to that. Is SmallerSmiley again having spun round. Really unfortunate for the Williams man. He'll come into the pit lane now, as that is JJ and Joseph, who you can now see. SmallerSmiley comes into the pit lane, presumably to fix that front wing damage. There's Top Gun very wide there. If he gets the exit right, Top Gun could see the lead of this race. It doesn't look for it, so no move made. They're both doing quite well at the moment. Cod Camper and Sano coming out just about behind Padge. I think if these two can get a bit more of an overcut, they can get their way past Padge and possibly even Greg into that big gap of clear air. As they both continue on for one more lap, they've done a 31.9 for Top Gun. Cod Camper now getting past Padge. He'll want to close up to Greg rather quickly, I imagine. Sano. Now, as I believe Padge has just let them go with their new, fresh, hard tyres. Greg almost faking to into the pit lane there. That looked like his Padge will also now come into the pit lane. Cod Camper for his own race will want to get into Greg's DRS. Greg for his own teammates' race will want to keep Cod out of DRS. But I think the freshness of their hard tyres will be too much for them to handle. As there's a caution in sector 2, that is SmallerSmiley. There's that. I was about to say that was Joseph coming in again. No, that's Padge. I'm being a bit blind. There's Cod Camper looking for the inside. Almost goes into the back of Greg there. As that is a very, very late move. As that is Cod Camper in the wall with Greg, unfortunately. As I thought I saw earlier. No, my eyes are playing tricks on me. It looked like Sano had front wing damage, but unfortunate for the V-carb. I also believe that could actually drop him behind DeflatedWee, as that is JJ, who has gone straight on. There's spun Williams in the final sector, as I believe SmallerSmiley is now unfortunately lapped. As he's lost his front wing again and he's just missed the pit lane. That is DeflatedWee, who has come into the pits. But these front two, they've been so close all race. John almost broke them, being the previous train. As Deflated now will come out behind Sano. The undercut could give Cod the advantage, and it does. We'll cut to this fight as Deflated almost cuts the pit exit by the looks of things. As Greg now also comes into the pit lane, presumably with damage. But after hitting the wall, Cod seems to have escaped without. Can't quite tell if Greg has had a front wing change. I can't see the chat when I'm looking because there's a notification for no reason. There we go, there's no chat. But John and Top Gun have stayed out again. Although based on where Deflated currently is, they were 7 seconds ahead of Deflated. They should come out ahead of Sano, and in that big gap of clear air, SmallerSmiley retires in the pit lane. As I hadn't quite noticed it, Top Gun has now fallen out of DRS, which is very interesting. I thought that his pace was really good in the first stint, or in the early parts of the first stint. And now it looks like he's just going to tail off a little bit, unless he can probably undercut John. Unless John comes in this lap. As that is the place where John seems to gain a lot of his time, over the curbs in Sector 2 coming towards the hairpin. The current championship leader looking to extend his current gap in the championship. Two of the same word in the same sentence, that doesn't make sense. Championship leader looking to extend his advantage over the man in P2. I believe is 1010, who isn't here today. There are no reserves either, as John does make his way into the pit lane. I imagine Top Gun will follow him then. Yes, he does. So that guy and Ayahuasca, who started on hards, will stay out, and therefore that guy will now take the lead of this race, followed by Ayahuasca. If there is a safety car now, these two are actually looking really well placed. Because John and Top Gun have shown that mediums can go probably to the end of this race. As Top Gun and John have come out behind Sano, so the 4-lap undercut has eroded away the 3-second advantage that John and Top Gun had. As that is Joseph Hales, who has spun, I believe, into the wall. As John does resume the lead with a good move with the DRS. And on his fresh hard tyres, he should start to pull away from Sano now. And the two V-carbs are quite close together as well. But all of that has meant that DeflatedWee is now 4 seconds off of the net lead for the battle, for the net battle for the lead. No, not the net lead for the battle. That doesn't make sense. However, these two... Excuse me there, as my party just malfunctioned. These two should start to DRS up to John and Sano. That would be the ideal option for them. Otherwise, John is just going to run away with this race. There is no question about that. He's already in P1 with a 4-lap fresher tyres. Does DeflatedWee sets the fastest lap of this race with 29.9. He didn't even have DRS. That is really good pace from the Season 581 champion. But Sano is now dropping back by quite the margin. And COD, unfortunately, can't get past Top Gun, so I imagine COD will be trying to just stay on the back of his teammate and be almost dragged along by the Greek. But that is now John gone. John gone. There's DeflatedWee That's crucial for his race. Gets a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. But unless something happens, i.e. a penalty of some form for John, I don't think much in this race will change. Unless Top Gun can magic some pace and be able to catch John. What did I just say? My brain is all over the place. As Top Gun is now within the DRS of Sano. Deflated does not have the freshest tyres in this field, as that is a yellow flag in Sector 2. That is Greg, who's gone a little bit deep, as unfortunately we've just cut away at the wrong time. That is Top Gun, who has just gone for a move on Sano, as that is Greg, who does not have damage. He didn't quite make the wall then. Ayahuasca, having just come out the pit lane, is just about behind Clements. Or sorry, just about ahead of Joseph Hales, who goes for the inside. That's a bold one to pull off, and he will have the DRS. He'll be looking for the slipstream. He goes to the inside. There's Joseph Hales' corner as he takes P8. Unfortunately, with the penalty, he won't keep it. Although I imagine with the pace of Ayahuasca on those mediums, that will become devoid anyway. As we look now to our race leader, that gap has just kept growing and growing ever since he broke Sano's DRS. As he's improved his personal best to a 29.9, I believe, as that is DeflatedWee who sets another fastest lap of this race, 29.8. As Ayahuasca now also getting a 3-second time penalty. But we'll have to wait and see what happens with John here to see whether he can keep this place, as that is Cod Camper looking to the inside on Sano. They've got the same what's the word? Same age tyres, but the V-carb is through. He will be looking to hang on to his teammate here to make sure he can defend from the Sauber behind, but all of this fighting has allowed Deflated to almost get in their DRS, as Ayahuasca does now overtake Joseph. I don't know if DeflatedWee got the DRS there. He missed it. He must have been milliseconds away, but unfortunately couldn't quite get it. He is very much pushing to get into their DRS here. He's probably quite low on battery, I imagine, is the Red Bull. But Sano making a bit of a mistake there. Does Sano have wing damage? He gets a 10-second penalty for speeding as well. Does the Sauber have wing damage? I can't quite tell. No. He's just coming again. I know he does, and he's retired from the race. That's really unfortunate. He was doing so well. I wonder how he must have got that then. Because that is kind of halted DeflatedWee's charge up to the podium. With his 2-lap fresh tyres and Cod Camper though, he should be able to re-catch. I'm sorry, I've just noticed that there's a yellow flag in the first, on the Raffles Boulevard for some reason. That's cleared now. Sorry, I just got really distracted. But this is now a fight on pure pace for Top Gun to try and catch John for the win. But at the moment, they've looked very, very equal. So we'll have to wait and see what goes on. but it more looks like out of these top 4, DeflatedWee is the one with the best pace. As I don't know if I have last lap. I have fastest lap. Whoa, that was a slide for Top Gun there. As DeflatedWee, your best gainer in this race. Out of the top 4, DeflatedWee does have the best pace. We'll go back to interval. As he is now in the DRS of Cod Camper, obviously with the 3-second penalty, that will be taken away from him if he does finish on the road ahead. But with 11 odd laps to go, you could probably say that the result is already looking wrapped up, rather. Ayahuasca now overtaking Clements. That's 2 Ferraris he's now overtaken, but unfortunately he is 13 seconds off of the next car, as is that guy. But the face we now confirmed he does have DRS. I believe that this is the closest on-track battle as well. So now we wait and see. I imagine also that the face will be wanting to recharge some of the battery that he must have used to be able to close up to these front drivers. But he'll also want to manage that with staying in the DRS. DeflatedWee for driver of the day, what a great race of him. Yeah, I agree. He's done absolutely fantastically to get over his qualifying, as he's already gone to the inside for the podium, and he's now gained 10 places on his start with no safety car, which, quite frankly, is a miracle in itself. You almost never see this happen, and this is also one of these tracks that you can almost never overtake on unless you have the DRS. So, this is a drive that is going better and better for Deflated. Obviously, with the 3-second penalty, he won't keep this place unless he can break Cod Camper's DRS and then pull out another 2 seconds within the next 10 laps. But he'd have to expend a lot of battery to do so. I can't see that. What a move. Yeah, I know. Yeah, very good move from DeflatedWee there. I think you may be a little bit behind, because I've only just seen that message. That is mildly funny to me. But lapping 3 tenths down on his personal best, so it shouldn't be all in all too bad. But gaining a lot through the apex of turn 3, I believe that was. But Cod will just about hang on in DRS. He's got 3 tenths to the good. Because I believe they're also closing a bit on the other V-Carb of Top Gun, who seemingly his pace has slightly dropped off here. There's an Alpine now, I believe that's of JJ, who is currently stayed out. Yeah, as you can see there. As you can see on the leaderboard also, DeflatedWee has almost dropped. If that is the commentator's curse and he has now got wing damage, I severely apologise. No, DeflatedWee should be fine. But he was very, very close to getting the Cod Camper out of the DRS there. As JJ does move over to the side and lets the 2 behind go. It's a very good day for the Red Bull family, I must say. As Cod Camper is almost out of the DRS. DeflatedWee setting a 30.4. As JJ speeds into the pit lane. I imagine he'll keep going. Can't quite remember what tyres JJ started on. He's gone on to the soft tyres. But DeflatedWee has now broken the DRS to Cod Camper. So he can now set about starting to catch Top Gun for second place. Of course, he won't keep that, what with the penalty. But that gap at the front just seems to be going up and up and up. So the yellow flag now. Couldn't quite see who that was. That may have been JJ, I'm not sure. Or possibly one of the Ferraris. I'm really sorry if there's a bit of a lack of comms now, because this race has kind of gone on a little bit. This race is generally known for being one of the longer races on the calendar, and it's one that requires a high amount of concentration from the times. Jove gets, unfortunately, another 3-second time penalty. So I believe that brings his total up to 16 seconds? Yes, it does. I don't believe he'd fall behind Greg, though. I believe he would just fall behind Padge by about 7.5 seconds or so. Ow, I just kicked my chair. But if we're speaking of penalties, DeflatedWee has now opened up a second more compared to the last lap, as Ayahuasca now also getting a 3-second time penalty. I do want to check that that's his second track limits penalty. So if things stayed as it is, then Ayahuasca would unfortunately fall behind the Ferrari of Kemmons. So it's a timing battle for them now, as DeflatedWee and Top Gun seem to have equalled out their pace. Although Deflated on the 2-lap older tyres is doing a very impressive job of keeping Top Gun in check in terms of time margin, and is consistently pulling out a few tenths on Cod Camper. One thing I do need to check are the standings, because I'd like to know, with 4 or 5 races to go, I believe, I want to know what championship will look like. So give me a few seconds while I just quickly bring this up. So at the moment, the gap from John to 1010 is 92 points. With the way that this race is going, it looks as though John will be winning this race. DeflatedWee goes off again. I imagine he won't want to get any more warnings, just in case. So 92 plus 25 is 117, with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 races to go, and 1, 2, 3 sprints. 7 multiplied by 25, that's already not enough, but I believe that would be 175. As we'll go on board with the championship leader as we talk about this. 175 points, plus 8 multiplied by 3, 24. So that would bring to 199, plus 7 points for fastest lap. So 206 points after today left on offer. So if things would stay as they are, he can't win the title for another, I'd say, 4 rounds at least. Maybe 3, depending on who decides to turn up when. But so far, this is looking an ever more consistent drive from the... As soon as I say that, here's a moment. That's a really good timing. But he's already got 2. On his quest to make it 3, he's already got a commanding lead. He's, well, quite frankly, he was the pre-race favourite. Pre-race? Hello? Pre-season favourite. Dear God. But with recent performances from a multitude of people, being both Björn and Sarno, and also knowing how this game works for no assist next season, and the way that we've had some races as well, especially this season. I know it's not quite the end of the season yet, but next season is going to shape up to be quite a good one. The other thing that I do want to keep an eye on is the Constructors' Championship. I would like to see the gap, obviously, with there being no more Ryan for McLaren, unfortunately. The gap between McLaren and Mercedes today will extend, because there are also no Mercedes drivers today, but with VCARB being 2 and 4, so that would be 18 and 12, so 30 points compared to McLaren's 25. At the moment, McLaren are scoring, or no, their nearest rival, 228 compared to 223, no, 222. So the nearest gap is Mercedes, 222 points back. So whatever 44 times 7 is, that's about 300 odd. So still a few more rounds to go. There's a yellow flag, as that is Codcamper. Excuse me. Codcamper, who has now, after such a brilliant race, gone round. He was doing really, really well to keep hanging on. But does now have damage. So with 3 laps to go, he needs to avoid that guy catching and overtaking him. But I think even then, I believe P5 will be quite the good effort from the number 84 VCARB. But that is really unfortunate. I completely missed that. Top Gun has a 3-second penalty. As JJ also now getting his first penalty. But that is really unfortunate for the other VCARB. But that now also opens up DeflatedWee to have a go at getting second place. I can't see any visible damage on Top Gun's car, so I can't explain to you the gap. So unless Top Gun's had a moment somewhere, and also got a 3-second penalty in the process, I'm really sorry, but I completely missed that. But with 2 laps to go, you can quite safely say who the race winner is going to be. As Codcamper now has that guy on the back of him. I'm pretty sure they've just gone side by side through the final corner. As Codcamper now will probably finish quite a way behind that guy on the mediums. But I think DeflatedWee's pace has also just dropped off a little bit. Maybe too little too late for the Red Bull man. He could have had a go at Top Gun here. But even then, P3 from the back of the grid is an absolutely mental drive. The fact he's even this close to being in the fight for P2 is absolutely insane. As he gets another 3-second penalty, that's really unfortunate. that will ruin his chances of getting second place unless Top Gun has a moment or another 3-second penalty. But he shouldn't fall to that guy. I guess you can also say that he doesn't have any need to respect track limits at this point, in the sense of he has enough of a gap to that guy behind. Hi, it's Sano. My crank set broke in the middle of the race. What do you mean your crank set? Do you mean like your brake or something? But yeah, no, that is really unfortunate if your your setup has failed mid-race. But yeah, you were running insanely well. So yeah, that is absolute commiserations to you, man. But I mean, you have opened it up to pedals. Yeah. Okay, yeah, no, I get that. Right, well, I hope you're okay. Because I know that pedal breakage can get quite violent sometimes. And I hope you can get back to racing soon, mate. Because you have some genuinely mad pace. As we now head on to the final lap. We'll go with John here. This, I don't believe, actually no, there has been a few times, as that is JJ who has gone round again. I believe, does my brain want to work? That'll be, thanks to you. Yeah, no worries, lad. I don't really know what to say. My brain's been a bit fried from this race being so long. But from the offset, we've seen this man be in control of the race. Once he took the lead earlier on, he did not look back, as that guy has also now unfortunately spun and possibly has wing damage. But we now see John coming towards the final chicane. He's been imperious for the entire race. We've said it so many times this season, but John will take the checker flag as he wins the race. He takes the Singapore Grand Prix. JJ, unfortunately, with the 10-second penalty, will fall behind. Top Gun with a great drive to P2. DeflatedWee, an absolutely insane drive to P3 from the back of the grid. That guy being more than a pit stop behind the leaders. Comes through the final chicane now, obviously with the last lap spin. Unfortunate for that guy. Don't think the strategy worked out quite as well as he'd have liked. So that guy comes around the final corner, he takes P4. Quad camper with the front wing damage will just about hold on to P5 ahead of Ayahuasca. Obviously with his penalty he would have taken that anyway. So Ayahuasca does take P6, has enough of a gap to Kemmons to keep P6. So Kemmons will come home in P7. Joseph Hales on his return comes P8, even with his 16 seconds worth of penalties. I believe he has enough of a gap to Padge. I believe JJ finished, so that should be just a glitch. Padge comes across the line and does not quite get Joseph there. As great is your final finisher. And that is your wrap, everybody. Despite it being so long, I really did enjoy that race. That was good fun to commentate, and I hope you guys at home have enjoyed that as well. But it's been so many times this season, but we see the McLaren man on top, followed by V-carb, and then the Red Bull. But he's been in the front for so long. Is there anybody that will be able to stop this man? I don't believe he was here last week in Baku. But Monza he certainly was. So Sano, well, 1010 obviously wasn't here today either. And 1010 hasn't been here for a while. But that is your rundown. John, dear God, you can tell how long it is. Thanks for the entertaining race, great commentary tonight. Thank you, Tucker. John takes the win from Top Gun, DeflatedWee. That guy taking the fastest lap alongside P4. Called Grand Prix in P5 with a really good result for V-carb. Ayahuasca in P6, Flying Flag for Aston Martin. Both Ferraris side by side in P7 and P8. Padge in P9, Greg in P10. JJ should get that place reinstated, but is outside the points of P11. Unfortunate DNF for Sano with his pedals failing. And SmallerSmiley, really unfortunate. It was a really good start for Smaller, but unfortunately just fell away in the second part of the stint. My voice is now dead. Oh my word. That was a lot tonight. Yeah, I say again, I hope you guys have enjoyed that. Next week, or well, for the rest of the week, we'll be having this race. I believe we've got 81 next on Thursday. And we should have next week, which is our first sprint since Austria. It's Kota. So I hope you'll join probably Red Dragon next week, I imagine. Either Red Dragon or myself. Hopefully, Steely, I hope you're still in chat. Hope you're still alright, mate. If you're up for it, you can stream next week as well. But, yeah, thank you for watching, everybody. Have a good night, and goodbye.